all of us are learning during COVID times. Whenever we talk to an audience, in the normal days, the parameter is to look at the size of the audience and their faces. In COVID times, when we can't look at their faces and the size of the audience, the best parameter is look at how many participants have left the discussion. And I'm happy to share that even after an hour, if 87 participants are still there with us, I must thank both Vijay and Sudakshana that you have brought some real value to this entire discussion. And now, Sudakshana, may I request you to share your views about the attitude and skills which are going to help these students in the coming days. Over to you, Sudakshana.
Yes, so quickly from my side, not just in the coming days, but also otherwise as well. One of the things, that attitude that I always value in team members and people coming joining us is ability and the and maybe the willingness to understand details. So going to be ready for the grind. A lot of you and many of you will get into sales roles. And when I say, because the revenue earning roles are the ones which are mostly open for organizations, and you'll probably get hired in those roles. And there, when you get into those roles, you have to be ready for grind. If it means doing the last 10-mile work, if it means doing some repetitive work, understanding business just ground up, that's one of the biggest thing that I think behavior I expect. The other thing that I expect in terms of a behavior is, and I mentioned it earlier, that please come in with a sense of contribution and responsibility. Nobody is waiting for you to kind of spoon feed you. Nobody is waiting, and you're not indispensable to the organization. Although we really value the new batch which comes in, the new hires who come in, because you're the fresh eyes. You're bringing in a lot more energy, lot more thought processes. But saying that, you also need to come in with a sense of responsibility and sense of contribution. That what is it that I want to do? So it's the expectation of always having a very cushy and cushiony job is not going to kind of work, and more so in the months ahead, because it's going to be slightly tough. Economic recovery is going to take time. All of us are hearing about it. We are sensing it as individually in our organizations. So despite all these constraints, as Vijay was referring to, how are you able to contribute? How are you finding opportunities to contribute is something that that would always be called upon. Yeah. So that's from my side, Subrat.
Thanks a lot, Vijay. Thanks a lot, Sudakshana. Just another question, and I'm just popping it up for everyone, and then we'll be opening it for question and answer. I just have a query. Who is more comfortable with online meetings, online workshops, online webinars in your family? You or your parents? I repeat, who is more comfortable with online meetings, webinars, workshops in your family? You or your parents? Okay, I can see all we. Go ahead, go ahead. A lot of you have, some of you have raised your hands, except for one case of parents. Generally, I see the case of we, and we. And there's a reason why I asked you. That when you talk about the COVID times, look at it from the perspective of that there is a silver lining. All those who are presently working in the corporate world, they all have been used to working in a certain way. And for them to get used to the new way of working, it involves the dual process of unlearning and then relearning. And one thing which does not change is the resistance to change. I'm pretty sure that all those who are working, they will find it not so easy to change to the new way of working. And that is where I think that the newcomers in the organizations, the students like you, are going to have an edge, in the sense that this is going to be the new normal for you. This is going to be how the things anyway happen at workplace for you. And there is a silver lining, and that is why I personally feel, and Vijay and Sudakshana can correct me, that you have a great chance of making your mark in the corporate world. Obviously, if you go by the basics, and the expected learnings, what Vijaya and Sudakshina shared. Vijaya and Sudakshina, any views about that?
Absolutely, Subrat. I think you're right in the sense, and that's the part of the new generation. We're looking forward to them to come in and tell us new ways of collaboration. I think Vijaya spoke about collaboration as well. How do you collaborate effectively? How do you spend your time? How do you structure your time and use different tools to make things engaging as we are working from a distance? The only thing that I would say that the new generation and the new batch of students or all of you need to be mindful is there is a lot of clutter on the net. There is a lot of clutter, lot of noise, and I see the new generations sometimes can get distracted with it. So you have to be mindful to build in a certain discipline as you learn, as you get into a corporate world. Leverage your skills of social media, leverage your skills of technology, leverage your skills of adapting, learning things faster, yet also learn the skill of discipline, learn the skill of consistency, learn the skill of sticking on to something and building something which maybe people senior to you or a generation senior to you, and as Subrat said, your parents might be learning, would be much more comfortable with it. I mean, there's a value in both, but definitely the new generation and all of us and all the new guys coming on board are supremely prepped up to face this new world.
Thanks, Sudakshina. Vijay, any views from you?
I completely resonate with what both you as well as Sudakshina said. We've heard of this concept called reverse mentoring. So of course mentoring is there. Reverse mentoring is when the younger or the less experienced individual mentors somebody who's a more seasoned professional. So as far as a lot of things that have been forced upon oldies like me, so to say, virtual working, collaboration tools, I very recently learned how to upload documents on Microsoft Teams. That just as an example. So you guys are far more equipped in use of these technologies, and this is where we seasoned professionals are actually looking at being reverse mentored by each of you, all of you, your generation, to make a workplace where you learn from us and we learn from you. So like Sudakshina mentioned, stay away from the clutter. Look at the best of all that is there and pick up that and leverage on that. That's it.
No, I think I agree to everything what Vijaya said, but I have one point of disconnect when she referred to all of us as oldies. So we are yet to reach that phase which is there. So you're muted.
I just meant me. You and Subrat are sorry. You and Sudakshina are young. I'm becoming an old lady now, I guess, but still
Not
young
at
at heart.
all.
Yeah. Still young at heart. So yeah.
Yeah. So on that note, while we have already crossed the 1 hour time frame which we had kept, still we'll be happy to take few questions. So all of you in the audience, if you have got some questions which you think you may want further clarity upon, or something which the honorable speakers forgot to touch upon, here is your time to shoot the questions. Go ahead. So Rima asked, I want to ask that as we are doing virtual internship, so will there be any effect in future as a fresher?
Okay, I'll take the question. So Rima, I don't see there would be, as I said earlier, also all of you are in the same boat. So I don't see there would be an impact in terms of job opportunity or you not being faring well in the interviews in the future. But yes, I would also recommend each one of you, wherever you're located, if possible, then please look out to do some live projects once things open up. Live projects at least means visiting an organization, even if it is for a month's time, even if it is for a couple of like maybe a month or a 3-4 weeks time in your nearby, just to make you familiar how does the organization operate, especially for freshers. That might help, and that might kind of get your uh, get you more geared for getting a facing the interviews. But please use that time.
Okay.
Just want to add to what Sudakshina said. In fact, if you are located in the same city uh, where your organization is, with whom you are currently doing your virtual internship, it may be a good idea to actually visit your project guide and your project sponsor once things normalize. And it will be good to have to meet those individuals in person as well. So do that too, wherever possible, of course.
Sure. In fact, the next question again is very close to my heart. It is about the reading habits. So Abhishek has asked the question that what are your views about the reading habits, and how is it going to help, and if at all it is going to help in our journey ahead. So even before I request Sudakshana and Vijaya, let me share it with you. Reading, the most fundamental thing which it does is, and I'm using a Hindi sentence over here, ये आपको एक पढ़े लिखे समाज में उठने बैठने लायक बना देती है. So that when you go, you talk sense, you talk business, and you make a mark in the very first interaction. Having shared that small snippet from my end, Vijay and Sudakshana, what are your views about reading as a habit, and few things which you may recommend them to read or to, be careful about while practicing this hobby of reading?
So see, we're all we often, all of us are aware of the phrase, change is the only constant. Now with change happening so frequently, if I were to just rest on my laurels and say, hey, I have a MBA degree from such and such institute, and now I have a very cushy job at hand, let me just relax. Unfortunately, that is not how things work. There's a lot of development happening in every field, our own field, and also in fields that affect all of us. For example, technology. Irrespective of whether I'm a HR professional or a supply chain intern, student, it affects all of us. So it's very, very important to keep reading so that you're abreast of the latest development, in your field, and also fields that affect all of us. And the other important thing is, uh, read any quality stuff that you can lay on your hands on it. You need not necessarily restrict yourself to this or that. So that's what I would like to say.
I have slightly differing view on reading. I love reading, and I think what Vijay and Subrat knows that. But still, I feel, in terms of reading, if you have not got the practice of reading and you don't enjoy reading, it's difficult to get into the habit of reading. Honestly, especially like thicker books and all of that. And I know, for example, I know my husband who doesn't love reading, and he really can fall asleep if he's reading a book. So I would say that reading as a medium is a like a compulsory must. Yes, you need to read a little bit, but look at all other sources of gaining that knowledge. So one of the option is look at the YouTube videos. So you have a lot of people putting many good documentaries on every subject under the sky. You will have a video in YouTube. You have a vlog, people are posting on certain things. So it's not essential that you read books, yes, but news articles, reading something on the net as well, even if it is an article, even identify what you want to understand, what you want to read. So having knowledge, being aware of things beyond your current circle of concern, or beyond your current circle, is super important. What medium you choose to, I think, that whatever you enjoy doing, it cannot be forced. My at least personal reflection on this is, if you really don't like reading, if I tell you to read 3 books, you will not be able to do it. So look at what, there is a good app called Get Abstract. This app is an interesting app which has abstract or summaries of very good books and professional books, and books that will give you a 10-minute summary of very, very large books. So if you are at all not interested in reading and you want to know the key highlights of some book, that's a cheat sheet kind of a thing. So you can go to Get Abstract and read that. At least that will give you an overall awareness. Yeah, that's from my side, Subrat.
I think both what you and Vijaya shared, Sudakshana, whenever I talked about reading, it is never going to be about books and newspapers. I'm pretty sure that this generation is much beyond, and even their parents would have given up on them much earlier than we trying to put and change their habits at this point of time. But you are absolutely bang on that reading is important. That need not be necessarily through the book. That can be through the different sources. The sources are the medium which you are most comfortable with, and you go ahead with that medium which is there. At that note, there has been another set of questions, but before I pick maybe last couple of questions, I have two questions from my end, and my first question goes here. My first question is, in 2010, how many of you ordered anything from Amazon or Flipkart? I repeat, in 2010, how many of you ordered anything from Amazon and Flipkart or Flipkart? Okay, Abhishek says that he ordered from Flipkart or Amazon in 2010. Did they actually exist, Abhishek, in 2010? Okay, no idea, nothing. Didn't know about that, no. See, if my memory serves me right, and Vijay has already put that, we are growing old. But if my memory serves me right, there was nothing called Amazon or Flipkart in India in 2010. So there is no chance of us ordering anything on Amazon or Flipkart in 2010. But now my question is, how many of you have ordered anything online, be it Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, and so on and so forth, many other websites, Grofers, so on and so forth. How many of you have ordered something online in the last 1 year? Go ahead. Okay, I, me. Go ahead. I have, yes. Good. So I see a lot of I, me, and I have ordered. And that is actually, I just use this to build the context for the next question. A lot of you have asked the question that, you know what, a summer internship is typically known for the practical exposure which is there. But we are not going to get practical exposure during this internship phase. How can we make up for that? My dear students, I think Sudakshana and Vijay have already shared that all of you are in the same boat. Just as earlier going to the market and buying the thing was the normal, and now ordering online has increasingly become the new normal. Having corporate experience physically was the new normal yesterday, and it is time for all of us to get used to having the corporate experience in the online and virtual form only, because that is going to be a reality which is going to stay with us for quite some time to come. But on that note, my question to Vijay and Sudakshana is, what are going to be the few key attributes or few new normals which will identify the workplaces post-COVID era? If you talk about the workplaces post-COVID era, what are going to be few of the characteristics which you expect in the organizations?
If I take this question, I think Vijay touched upon it when she was in her initial talk, but let me say what are the new normal for workplaces. New normal, number one, I think working from home is a new normal. Many organizations were reticent or sometimes not sure about working from home. Now all of us have experimented and are quite sure that it can work very effectively. So working from home is a new normal. The other thing is the massive use of collaboration tools, be it Microsoft Teams and Zoom and WebEx. I mean, honestly, in this, the entire COVID crisis is forced all of us to reevaluate the way we do work. And one of the things that we realize is that almost everything can be done done from a distance and online. A lot of work can be done. What will not change is the need to reach out to people and to listen to people in terms of how things are, in terms of connect and relationships. Other thing that will change, I think, post-COVID in terms of a workplace, and we are seeing that, and especially as a working from home, that becomes that becomes a necessity, is to have your own schedule. Because you're working from home and because if you're working from a distance, it's important that you bucket your days into different compartments. You have a very scheduled approach of things to be done. because nobody is there to monitor. I mean, it's up to your own self-discipline in a working from home scenario, whether you're watching with, whether you choose to work or you choose to watch Netflix. Yeah, and in most cases, organizations will be kind of organization will just follow up on delivery. They will not really bother about what else you're doing. So having a little bit of self discipline is something is going to be supremely needed for all of us, and to structure a day better. But yeah, new normal, I think lesser amount of travel. I think business travel, Subrat, I see at least in the next 6 to 7 months go down significantly for most organizations. Once because of COVID, and others because we realize we can do a lot of stuff just over technology, and we need not waste organization resources on it. So yes, new normal from my side would be those.
So agree with what all the things that Sudakshina said. Those will and have become the new normal. In addition to that, perhaps social distancing is something that we will continue to see at at workplace. So the government has issued guidelines in terms of how many people can be called to work at one point in time, what should be the distance between them. So typically, team lunches with colleagues and things of that kind are something that we should perhaps be ready to forego for at least um, sometime. Those will not happen. A good thing is that typically, there is this tendency in organizations to call everybody remotely possible with a topic for a meeting, even if the person is not really a direct stakeholder in the meeting. So definitely in the new normal, when you have to pick and choose the number of folks who can be in the room, uh, uh, and thank perhaps COVID for that, you will save time, because you will not be called to meetings where you are not required in the first place. Okay. Business travel, Sudakshina spoke about. um, there will be a rise in so to say the remote workers. Okay, so jobs typically that typically we would not see, or we may not have been have considered as jobs that can be done from a remote location. There'll be more acceptance towards those. And another thing that I think it will change in workplace, at the workplace, is how we conduct our learning and development interventions. So typically, almost all of them earlier used to be in the nature of classroom trainings. So now we would be leveraging other virtual means to to upskill people, and not just focus on classroom interventions where you require everybody to travel and be at the same place, because the COVID situation has showed us that learning can happen otherwise as well. So largely these.
So thank you so much, Vijaya. Thank you so much, Sudakshina. I think we have overshot the time, and in the interest of time, we'd like to just end this interaction over here. Thank you so much, Sudakshina, and thank you so much, Vijaya, for joining us and sharing your great insights.
Thank you, Subrat.
And as a token of respect and gratitude to them for sparing their valuable time, may I request all of you to just raise your hands and thank them for the great insights which they have shared with us. May I request all of you to just raise your hands? I can see there is something called clap as well. I am also learning Zoom. So I started with only the raising of hands. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Sudakshina. Thank you so much, Vijaya. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Subrat and People Lab, for giving us this opportunity. I hope that we've been able to share some insights, useful insights with you, and that you've benefited from the discussion today. So with that, have a pleasant rest of the evening and take care, guys.